Hi everyone, welcome back to Close Look. Kevin Atwell here with you at the Shakti Awards. I'm standing next to Kamal Dhillon. She's an author and was the keynote speaker at this evening's event. She authored a book called Black and Blue Sardi, and she has an amazing story to tell. I'm very excited to chat with her, so let's take a close look. Kamal Dhillon, how are you doing this evening?
I am tired, but yeah, worth the night.
Worth the night. I must say you look absolutely ravishing.
Thank you.
So you were the keynote speaker tonight. You are an author of this book called Black and Blue Sari. We'll get to that in just a minute. For tonight's event, Shakti Awards, what does Shakti mean to you?
Shakti is bravery, it's courage, it's the strength of a woman who was destined for nothing, who was destined to die, who was labeled useless. And last year, I was actually one of the recipients of this award. And to be here on the other side today and share the Shakti, my Shakti, with others, men and women, is absolutely an honor to be here.
I'm very honored to be in your presence. I actually read your book and I finished reading it about a week ago, and it was an extremely moving story. And the fact that you've overcome such obstacles to be here today. You are the epitome of a woman, of a strong woman, and thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you. You know, I feel like I owe my story to those that are trapped, those that think this is it. I want to show them because I have overcome a lot, as you said, but not only overcoming abuse, I live with a lot of disabilities that he inflicted on me. And this is lifelong. But those disabilities I'm turning into abilities.
Oh, very well said. And so when you say trapped, do you mean physically trapped or emotionally trapped, a combination of the both? Is there a way to get out of it? Because I know you have, but would you like to elaborate on that?
Yeah, you could be trapped in a lot of ways. You could be trapped because of family, because of family honor. You could be trapped because finances. You could be trapped because of children. There's a lot of ways, but I want to give victims hope that there is a better life for them. And if they can get hold of resources, if they can hold of their inner strength that's there and make it, because do it for your children. You don't want to let your sons and daughters, give them the message that it's okay. Do it for yourself. But I want to do it for them to say, that abuse is not okay. And together we must end violence against women.
We must definitely end violence against women. Would you be willing to talk about some of the disabilities that you live with today as a result of this horrible, horrible man?
Absolutely. You probably look at me and you think, oh, there's really nothing wrong. But if I told you I have an artificial jaw, that's the first thing you'll look at. And this artificial jaw has come from 9 jaw surgeries. And my eye, he tried to take my eye out, saying, I see too much. So I have, physical limitations. I have things that you can't see, like arthritis because of broken bones, fibromyalgia, stress-related trauma that, I can't, like I said in my speech, things that you take for granted, eating, sleeping. Those things are a chore for me. I have to make sure that my food are bland or they're soft food. I have to make sure that when I'm sleeping, I can't sleep on either side because my jaw is now dislocated.
My goodness. And not only just, being sort of hit in the face numerous times, but I'm talking, electrocuted, almost set on fire, burned, hung. When you experienced those situations, there's not a lot of women that survive that. At those particular times, what was going through your head to enable you to live another day?
Actually, at that time when I was going through that, I had begged him to finish it quickly because dying would have brought me relief. But then when I saw my daughters, more so my daughters than my sons, and I thought, God forbid it happens to them, and I'm not around to save them. And I started to mentally, emotionally fight and say, Kamal, if you can just live one more day, just one more day, and tomorrow you'll get a bit more strength. And so it was a daily struggle to ensure that this cycle will not repeat itself in my daughters.
And I remember reading your book, and there was a point where there had been times where you had mentioned that, oh, it's a possibility. Finally, things are going to start to go okay. And then it just never panned out that way. But there was one point where I read where I'm like, okay, I have a feeling that her life is going to take a change for the positive. And it was when you were sitting in the airport and a woman had come up to you and simply asked, sweetheart, what's wrong? And started talking to you about something that she wanted to share with you. Would you like to share that with us, please?
What it was for the first time, somebody actually sat next to me. Somebody actually touched me. And the power of touch. It is, to me, when I was being touched, it was in negative forms. It was to torture me. But this touch from this woman was, you can do it. I'm here. And she shared that God loved me, that her faith in Jesus is what kept me. And as she shared with me, and I thought, maybe there is a God out there. I've had too many gods, including my own husband, who played God. It's time that I let go and let God. And it was a turning point for me at that time, because finally I put my fears aside and put God first. And I'm not trying to tell anyone that it was an instant change, but it was a beginning of major changes.
I definitely felt that. That was the one point in the book where I connected with you so deeply, and I genuinely felt that the rest of the book was, the rest of your life would go in your favor. There are a lot of women out there, and men, let's face it, that are in abusive relationships. And I also remember reading in the book where you said that it's almost safer to stay in an abusive relationship versus getting out. After you've written the book and you are where you are today, do you still have that philosophy, or is it kind of, you got to juggle the situation? Can you elaborate on that?
I know a lot of times women will fear, because where do they go?
Yeah.
How long will they be gone for? Who's going to help them? Things are slowly changing. There is more transition houses than there were before. There's more resources. And what I tell men and women is to get yourself acquainted with the local resources, because you want to now leave. You may not be safe, but there are, better resources to help you now. So I don't want you to make the sacrifices that I made to stay, where I thought if I leave, he'll kill me, he'll kill my family. Where would I go from here? But fast forward, if that happened to me again, there's a lot of places I can go, and I'd be safe.
That's very comforting to know. Since you came back from India here, when you had all your kids here, have you ever been back?
No.
You have not been back, not even to your own village?
No.
Are there any remnants of your past life that still come in front of your eyes?
Things happened here too. My abuse started in Richmond, and when I passed by certain landmarks like underneath Patello Bridge, White Rock Pier, my heart skips a beat. I can just see flashbacks of where I was and how I was tied, or how I was beaten, and the fear that was instilled in me in that dark place. So, although I'm not in that and I have forgiven him, but the memory is still there.
The memories are still there. I know healing, it's a lifelong process. Are you at this moment going to counseling, therapy? Do you still seek aid for the physical and or mental wounds?
I and my children went through a lot of counseling at the time, and then now I have just wonderful friends that I can vent, and they're just the best in here, listening. But I'm not, if counseling wasn't something that I would need, I would pursue it. There's no shame in getting help.
We should be celebrating each other, our moms, wives, sisters, daughters, every day. Not just on a particular day when we celebrate International Women's Day or Mother's Day. We honor our moms each day. Myself, I am a mother of 4 children, a grandmother of 2, a boy and a girl, and a grandmother of a golden retriever. In 2006, UN Secretary General made this statement: as long as violence against women continues, we cannot claim to be making real progress towards equality, development, and peace. Let's start by asking ourselves, what is domestic violence? What does domestic violence look like? We all know someone that has been affected by violence. We may ourselves be victims of that. Remember that violence doesn't have to look black and blue. Violence has many, many signs and hurts in many ways. Hurts when you are emotionally, verbally, psychologically abused, when you're financially abused, sexually abused. There's many ways violence affects us.